Okay. And Ray interviewing David Underwood, who come to the Christian Books and More for a book signing on his book, Confessions of a Wannabe Cop. What exactly was your inspiration to write your own book?
Well, it's kind of a couple of things. I'm proud to be a cop. I'm proud of being a police officer. I like telling my story. My dad was very similar. I mean, he always liked people to know that he was a police officer. He was proud of that. So that's was part of it. Another thing that kind of motivated me was, just how law enforcement affects a person's life and how it changes you and maybe give people an understanding, of what it's like. I was a chaplain before I became a police officer, so I did a lot of ride along and spent a lot of time with them, and I thought I had a pretty good grasp on what law enforcement deals with and what officers have to go through. But once I became an officer and now an investigator, I still did not have a clue. So it really was an eye-opening experience for me to be a police officer. So, and there's areas of law enforcement that is not what's the word I'm looking for? Not just within any one particular department. I mean, it's every department, probably in America, is going to have some of the issues and concerns that I have with law enforcement, like ethics. I believe that we are held to a higher standard, and whatever is wrong in law enforcement, these days, I think we're the ones who can change it. We're the ones that are going to be making it better. We can always do it better. So that's been one of my passions, you might say. Just say, I'm not perfect, but I'm saying, hey, we can do it better. We can do it better. But yeah, I mean, it was kind of, I guess, multifaceted, my motivation.
I'm trying to think here.
Okay.
Do you have any tips or anything for anybody who would be interested in either being a police officer, a chaplain, or writing a book?
Well, you got to want to be a police officer to be a cop. I mean, you really do, and that's, again, that's part of the where the title comes from. We usually think of a wannabe as someone who wants to be a cop or whatever, without going through the right training and all that. They just want to be. Well, but you got to want to be a cop. And so I hope that whoever reads the book, especially law enforcement officers who might read the book, will realize it's not about the money, it's not about the glory, and I know we know that, but it's because we just want to be a cop. And I don't even know how to explain it. Why I wanted to be a cop. My dad was. It's always been part of me that's wanted to be involved in law enforcement. And it took pretty close to 20 years to get me to the point where I was ready for it. So wow, I mean, I don't even know how to answer that question, because there's, I would hope that also that any pastor or minister that might read this book would realize and see why we need chaplains in law enforcement today. I was a chaplain for several years before I became a cop, and now I find myself wishing, or not wishing, but wanting to talk to the chaplain. Because we're dealing with stuff that I never thought it was going to affect me the way it has. And it's not that I've turned away from God or the church or anything like that, but it's just, it changes your whole, to me, it changes your whole outlook on life, So it is risky going into it. not only the risk of, being killed in the line of duty or something like that, but just the risk of how it's going to affect you. And I think that is another reason why you got to want to be a cop. Be a cop. So that's pretty much it. I don't know if it answered your question or not.
It did. That was good.
Okay.
And I thank you for letting me take this few minutes to interview you, and thank you for coming to Christian Books and More to do the book signing.
Well, thanks for having me.